Hi. What is good, Boom Crew? It's your girl Andy Boom Fannie, and I'm back with another video. Finally, I've been supposed to upload this. I tried to upload it before, it wasn't working. I recorded a video and it was mad long, and I was like, damn, it's too long anyway. So, damn, I need to refill this. Girl, get away. Get away. You're not about to knock down my ring light and shit. So anyway, I really wanted to be cute for this video, but I'm just not. I just threw my little hat on, and that's it. So anyways, this story time I've been avoiding because it's just crazy. It's fucking crazy, and I'm gonna try to minimize this as much as possible, but y'all know how I tell my story times. I like to build the character up and then hit you with the what the fuck, Annie. So that's why my story times be so long, because I need y'all to get a gist of who this person actually is, or who they presented themselves to be, to me at least, because people be different with different people. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I'm gonna try to shorten this. So anyway, this story time is about Mr. Crush, okay? Mr. Crush, I met at the cafe. I knew him for a minute before we actually like started dating. But to give you an idea of Mr. Crush, he's the guy that walks in a room and everybody like, damn, who's that? Like, you know, he looks good like that. Y'all got somewhat of an idea of how he looks with one of my Fashion Over try-on hauls. And y'all didn't even really see his face, and y'all was just in the comments like, damn girl, you upgraded. He looked better than he who shall not be named. And I was like, yeah. I mean, he was definitely a better look in regards to look. I mean, he was a better look in general, mostly. You understand what I'm saying? I can say he was 2 notches up with his personality, and then but his looks, of course, he buried that nigga. But anyway, nonetheless, they both wasn't shit. So let me tell you about this one. So Mr. Crush, like I said, I met him at the cafe. So when we would hang out at the cafe, it would be usually me, him, and other people, like the person that's working behind the counter, other customers that come in or whatever. So, my first thought of him was, of course, yeah, this guy looks really good, but there was nothing that was like I would leave the cafe and be thinking about him, or damn, I want him to talk to me type of shit. I don't know. I just, okay, this dude looks good. And that was that. You know what I'm saying? I'm a sapiosexual, so I need stimulation, like, mentally, in order for me to really, like, have an interest in somebody. I don't, like, just get hype off of somebody's looks. So eventually, like, he would join in on conversations, or we'll make small talk or whatever. And of course, he came off as cool. He always seemed to have a routine. You know, he would come in, get the same order, go to the gym. He was usually by himself. Well, he was always by himself. So he just seemed to be like a very, you know, a straight arrow. So when we were in the cafe, a couple of the red flags that I saw when we were in the cafe is that I would notice that he tend to disagree with people a lot. Like, if you said something, it couldn't be what you said. It had to be what he said. And he didn't do it in a way that was like outright obvious, but I think I looked back at it in retrospect after me and him got into a relationship, and I thought about it like, damn, he was doing it when I first started, you know, getting to know him. And I didn't even peep that, because it was just like, you know, a whole bunch of people. It's a setting of a whole bunch of people. So, you know, people are talking over each other, you know, whatever the situation is. So, but you know how you, like, look back at things. Like, of course, I'm famous for doing that shit. So, anyway, So that was one of the first red flags, right? But he, I can say, was like very consistently coming in, consistently sitting with me at the cafe, consistently keeping conversation. And that's when it started to hit me like, oh, okay, he has an interest. You know what I'm saying? I was just thinking we ended up at the cafe at the same time and we talking or whatever, whatever. But you know, he had an interest. Eventually, he asked me for my number. He asked me to take me out on my birthday. He was gonna take me to like a steakhouse, and I had to decline because I was like going out with friends. But I was like, oh, I'm gonna take you up on that offer or something like that, right? So, how did we start? I think he said that he was gonna take me up, but I don't know what happened. Or I don't know if I texted him first or he ended up texting me like after we exchanged numbers. I think I texted him or whatever. And from that day that I texted him, we would talk every day. You know what I'm saying? It would be good morning or whatever the situation was. We would talk everything. Every day. That's one thing about him. I heard from him damn near every day basically. Call, text, whatever. That was never an issue. So he doesn't live too far from me. He doesn't have any children. He was never married. And when he first told me that, he's older than me. When he first told me that, I don't know about y'all, but some people would see that as a plus. But sometimes I feel like that works against a man in particular. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like, do they understand what unconditional love is if they've never been in extremely long relationships or they don't have children? It can be very alarming when you meet an older man and he doesn't have that particular type of experience. Some people would prefer people with no children, and I can understand why, but sometimes it's a struggle because you'll talk to them and you can tell that they don't understand what going through thick and thin is because they don't have children. That's my personal opinion. When you have children, I feel like you start to view the world differently and you start to understand that people are people, humans are humans, people make mistakes. And I'm not trying to like make it seem like when you get into a relationship you have to look at them as childlike, but I'm just saying like your perspective of the world, well, at least in my opinion, gets a little bit broader, is what I'm trying to say. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just look at things differently. I don't know if what I'm saying makes sense, but if you understand what I'm saying, please comment below. So, anyway, like, you tend not to be as selfish, or I guess that's what I'm trying to say. So, when he said that he didn't have children and, you know, he was never, like, I think his longest relationship, I don't know how long his longest relationship was, but I think he had a very long relationship when he was younger, but then after that, it was like, long relationships to him was like 2 years. To me, that's not a long relationship to me. I'm sorry. That's like honeymoon, everything is all good type of shit. You know what I'm saying? So, fast forward. So that was another thing that was like, okay. Not initially, but throughout the relationship, I started to really think like, yeah, I don't know if I could really deal with somebody who says that they've never experienced certain things in life, because they tend to act a certain way to me, and that's exactly what he ended up doing. So he had a job where he worked from the afternoon to the nighttime, right? So usually I would see him on his days off. When we first started talking, usually I would see him on his days off if it wasn't at the cafe, or I would see him at night when he got off of work or whatever, which wasn't an issue to me, because he didn't live far. So it was very easy for us to see each other and it not be a big deal. So we started like dealing with each other, and I can say before all of that, like before we started actually dealing with each other, we went on a date, right? The first date we went on, and I have a video on it, and when I actually came back from the date, I recorded. I usually record when I come from going on first dates with people, right? So, like I said, the first date was cool, but I think I mentioned in the video that he was a little guarded, or I don't know. I just thought that maybe he wasn't. I can't remember what I said, but I think I said something along the lines as, I think he's smarter than what he comes off to be, or some shit like that, or whatever. So like I said, he was a little guarded. He's smarter than when he you know, whatever. So when we were out on that date, there was no particular red flags besides the fact that he seemed a little like when you would ask him a question, he was a bit evasive, is what I'm trying to say, right? So I was like, okay, cool, you know, whatever. When we got in there, of course, you know, the waitress was doing the most, because like I said, the nigga looked wild good. The waitress was doing the most. So I already said in my head, like, damn, this is gonna be somebody that if I'm with them, I gotta be totally secure in my position, because he's literally like the nigga you go to the bathroom and a bitch would dead try to fucking holler at the nigga. So I was like, okay, you know, I peeped that or whatever. And then, so that was the first date we went on. And then the next time we went out, I invited him out with my friends. It was my friend Lisa's birthday. This was last year, and it was her birthday. It was in January sometime. And before that, he had ended up being, he was sick. We think that it's COVID, but I wasn't sure. Whatever. Because he had like symptoms of COVID, but this is before like cases were being really confirmed or people knew like it was considered a pandemic. So, he had finally started to feel better, and I had invited him out. So we all in the club in this hookah lounge, and he was a complete gentleman. He came in fly. We ended up matching, which I was like, okay, I like that or whatever. When he came in, my friends was like, damn, bitch, you look good. I'm like, yeah, bitch, you know me. So, he had bought drinks, and he was just a gentleman, y'all. He was a gentleman. We go downstairs and we dancing, and I'm noticing, I'm like, damn, this nigga really fucking dance really good. Like he's a good dancer. So I'm like, yo, I know the sex is gonna be bomb. Y'all don't think that that's an implication that somebody has good sex, but I'm sorry, if you can fucking move, you can move, bitch. So that's what I was thinking in my head, being a fucking hood rat. So I'm like, okay, you know, whatever. So after that, we were just chilling. We would see each other every day, but one thing I would notice is like, how can I say? His conversation was very limited to me. Like if he wasn't talking about his car, he was talking about, and then eventually COVID started becoming a thing. He started talking about COVID. Like his conversation was very routine. We would never get into extremely deep conversation. And like I said, I'm a sapiosexual, so I'm thinking to myself, like, yeah, I like this guy and he looks good, but he's not hitting you know what I'm saying? Like it ain't hitting right here. But I'm like, you know what? Let me give it a chance, because I be getting too fucking deep. I be trying to talk about fucking everything under the sun. You know what I'm saying? So that's that. But there was one time where he had claimed he was like, he had did a double or some shit like that at work, and he was claiming that he was extremely tired. Once again, he was just getting over being sick. So he was claiming that he was extremely tired, right? Sorry, y'all. I just came from the gym. I got to make sure I drink this. So he was claiming that he was extremely tired, but he like, oh, I gotta go to this party. So I was like, so I had said, I was like, you said that you were really tired. Like, you know, I wasn't trying to be like, you tired, stay your ass home. But it was just mind boggling the way he was complaining how tired he was, why he was so adamant about going to this party, right? So he's like, oh, I gotta go to this party. So I was like, oh, you said that you were really tired. So that's what it was. He was like, oh, it's gonna be a 2-hour drive. And I was like, you mad tired? Like, why don't you just stay home, call it a night? He was like, oh, I promised this person that I'll go to a party. If you told somebody that you was gonna go to a party, wouldn't you go? I said, not if I was as tired as you claiming you were. So I left it like that. He goes to the party, right? He comes back from the party, and he hits me up. So at this point, it's like 2 something in the morning, 3 something in the morning. Me and him, I had already, did whatever we did. And I'm going to tell you about that too. Is this cat throwing up? Because she be fucking eating too much. So it wasn't, I didn't feel a way about him coming to my house late because we had already seen each other all types of hours. Morning, afternoon, day, night, or whatever. At this point, we were seeing each other every day, right? So when he came back from the party, it wasn't to my surprise that he would come over. So he came over and he had glitter on his back. Now, I'm not talking about like lotion glitter. I'm talking about like pieces of glitter on him. So I said to him, I'm looking at him and I'm like, why do you have glitter on your back? And he's like, from my shirt. So it wasn't registering to me, but I think I was trying to think. Like, I was like, your shirt? But I think I was looking at his shirt like, your shirt don't have glitter. But by the time, like, I couldn't even get my thoughts together. He done picked me up, put me on the bed, started eating me. I'm like, okay, whatever. But I kept a mental note. But even before that, I had went to his house, right? And soon as I went in his house, he was like, well, this was the first time he was having sex. The first time I went to his house to have sex, I was going over there to have sex. So when I went to his house, he was like, bedroom. So I'm like, excuse me, sir. You ain't got to tell me twice. But I didn't, it was like, whatever. I know what I came here for. So I went to his house and we going to have sex. And his dick is mad. Bitch, I'm talking about like this. Big, right? Don't get gassed. Don't get gassed. You got to put a condom on. The condom only fitting on the head of his fucking dick, y'all. So, so he busts out the lubrication. He got everything ready. So I'm in my head like, damn, player. So we go to have sex, and I'm like, it was uncomfortable to me. Number one, he wasn't hard. Like he wasn't hard, like healthy nigga hard. Like, you should be hard. I don't understand. So he was hard enough for it to go in, but I took a mental note like, damn, is it me? Like, as woman, that's what you start to think, okay, is it me? I know I wasn't smelling bad or anything like that. So I'm like, like, is it me? Are you having issues? Are you nervous? Is it the condom? Like, all of that's running through my head. I let it be. First time was enjoyable. It wasn't the best in the world, but it was like, whatever. I like the nigga, so, and it wasn't small, so I'm in my head like, okay, one day he'll be able to get hard. Maybe today's just not his day, so I'm gonna leave it like that, right? So, whatever. Oh my God. Bye. Anyways, so that was one thing, right? So the day he came in here and started eating me out, whatever, after I asked him about the glitter, he started eating me out, whatever, we had sex. I noticed again, like, damn, his dick is not really hard. Like, to me, it was like 50% hard. No, I'm giving it too much. This shit was like 40% hard. So, another thing is, I had went to give him head. Like, the first time we had sex, I had went to give him head. And it got even softer. And I was like, what's wrong? And he was like, oh, I don't like head. And I was like, you don't like head? Like, I was like, oh no, baby. Oh no. I ain't say this to him, but I was in my head like, oh no. Something ain't right. Something is not right in the water. Something ain't sitting right, y'all. I can't believe I'm telling this story. Oh my God. Anyway, let me calm down. So right there, half the sex life is done, bitch, because I like doing that. Okay, that's I do what I do. Okay, I know how to, but I will flex your ass. I know what the fuck I'm doing. Okay, so when he said that he didn't like that, I was like, oh no, yeah, this ain't gonna work. But I digress. What my stupid ass kept doing, kept dealing with his ass. So the fact that he wasn't getting all the way hard, and the fact that he didn't like head, really like turned me off. But I would always try to get myself in the mind frame to have sex with him. Eventually he started to notice that I wasn't getting wet, or I wasn't stimulated, or whatever the situation was. But I will always try to initiate sex, because I didn't want it to be like so obvious where it was like, nigga, this shit is not hitting to me. Like, whatever. So anyway, so it was another time. I'm just telling y'all different instances because I'm just trying to remember everything so this video won't be so long. So there was another time he was like, oh, come with me to the doctor's. I'm gonna go get tested, and I need a letter for work or whatever. Because like I said, he wasn't feeling well, and he wasn't feeling well for a good minute. Like I think it was like 2-3 weeks where he wasn't feeling too good, like fever and everything, right? So throughout that time, I was making him chicken noodle soup. We was talking, like I said. He wasn't really leaving his house. He was staying in his house. I was spending the night with him, whatever the situation was. So there was another time he was like, come with me to the doctor. I'm going to go get tested. So I'm like, okay, cool. I'm like, shit, I'm down for that. So we go to the doctor that he's trying to go to, and they're like, oh, that the doctor has too many patients or whatever. But before that, we was sitting in the waiting room, and he's like, what did he say? He was like, yeah, I'm supposed to be trying to catch this flight. I hope that they booked the flight or whatever. So he says that, but he doesn't say, oh, I'm going here and this is where I'm going, right? So one thing about me, I don't know how to say it. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like, I'm a little bit of a bitch. Like, I'm fully aware of that. So when people try to do things that, like, for attention or to get a reaction out of me, you won't get it, because you're annoying me now. So he was sitting there, he's like, oh, I'm supposed to be taking this flight. Oh, I hope she books the flight. And so I don't know if that was my cue to be like, oh, where are you going and who's booking the flight? But bitch, no, I'm not doing that. I'm just gonna sit there and look at you. Cause if I'm going somewhere and I'm dealing with somebody, I'm simply gonna say, hey, I'm gonna be taking a trip for this amount of days, and this is when I'm leaving, or whatever the situation is. I'm not gonna just be throwing shit up in the air. So he would do little shit like that, and that shit would annoy the shit out of me. So he was like, oh yeah, so he says that, so I don't say nothing. So he kept talking about it. So I don't really, I don't entertain it, because not at one point he says where he's going, when he's going, and how long he's going to be there, and who he's going to be with, right? So whatever, I'm just like, yeah, okay, or whatever. I was like, oh, just keep checking the flight prices or whatever. I didn't know what to say, because you're not giving me details, and I'm not about to be sitting here fucking questioning you. What the fuck? So we went somewhere. We in a car driving. This is the same day. We end up going to another doctor, City MD or some shit like that. So he does whatever he does, and we in the car, and he's like, I don't know what he said, but I was like, yeah. I was like, you taking your mystery trip? So he started laughing. Oh, you mystery trip. He was like, oh, okay. So he didn't entertain that. So I was like, okay, say less, nigga. So the next day, not the next day, I forgot how many days after, he goes and takes this mystery trip. Mind you, I don't know where the nigga at. Whatever. I still don't question him where he's at. So he had texted me good morning or some shit like that. So, we text or whatever. And then finally, he had said something about how he was in Miami, and that how he was partying all night or some shit like that. That he was fucking exhausted and tired. He couldn't wait to get back to New York. So I was like, oh, okay. So I was like, damn, like, you not feeling well. You're not really feeling well. But you doing mad much. Like, you pushing the envelope. Like, what the fuck is up with this nigga? Like, You gotta be out. You gotta be at these parties or whatever the situation is. So I don't say nothing. I'm like, this nigga ain't got no kids. We not married. I just started dealing with this nigga. Okay, whatever you want to do. So that was another thing, right? So remember how I said that when I had went to his house one of the times that he was like, oh, straight to the back. It was another time I went to his house. At that point, I had been to his house, but it was another time I went to his house, and I'm looking and I'm like, what's these hats? Like, he had mad different hats. So he's like, oh, those are like from Halloween and shit like that. I'm like, oh, okay. But I'm in my head like, Halloween? Nigga? What? So I call Risa. And I'm leaving a paper trail because I'm in my head like, sis, I know I'm not bugging. I said, I know I'm not bugging. I feel something. I feel it. I feel it in my soul. I said, something's not sitting right. And I already knew what it was. I'm gonna tell y'all in a minute, but I'm like, something is not sitting right. Okay, before I even fucking reveal it, is there anything else? Okay, I just want to continue telling y'all about his personality. So at this point, finally March comes, and I had started my job in February, so I wasn't seeing him like that in the morning because I was doing a 9 to 5, and he works in the afternoon. So I would see him at night, right? And then I'll get up in the morning and go to work or whatever the situation was. So March comes and my job decides, okay, COVID is an official thing now. It's a serious issue, whatever the situation is. So we get to work from home. So that's how, when y'all was seeing the videos of like the fashion haul, or I was cooking for him, or whatever other video you hear me talking to him, or whatever the situation is, that's when y'all saw it. Like when it was quarantine, we had nothing but each other to chill with. You know what I'm saying? So he couldn't go out as much as he was going out. We couldn't do what we normally do. So we was just in the house. We would be in my house, or mostly my house or his house. And I would end up cooking a lot and, whatever. It was quarantine. So I started to notice personality traits about him. Number one, he would cut me off when I was speaking. Right? And he who shall not be named used to do that. But he would do it unintentionally without being aware that he was doing it. Right? Or, no, matter of fact, he would do it, right? But it wasn't because he didn't want to hear what you said. He would do it because he was combative. That's why he who shall not be named used to do it. To me, he was very combative. Like, you know what I'm saying? You got to talk over him. You got to talk loud. You got to be so fucking animated. And I'm not really that type of person. You know what I'm saying? Like, I might put on a show here and there and have a burst of energy, but I be chilling. I talk my shit in the corner or whatever, but I don't like all that riffraff. So that's the reason why I feel like he would do it, because he was like just a hyper person. Mr. Crush would cut me off while I was talking, simply because he felt like I should not be talking. And I mean that by saying, like, one day I was giving him a foot massage, right? So I would give him like massages, cook for him, do all of that, right? Because of the type of work that he used to do. So he will come back in here and he would like really need to be, cared for. So one day I'm giving him a foot massage, and he was fucking talking as always. And finally, I go to say something, and he was like, no, I go to say something, and he cuts me off. So I was like, could you please stop cutting me off when I speak? Just like that. I didn't even do the hand thing, bitch. I'm rubbing his feet. So I was like, could you please stop cutting me off when I speak? Just like that. Calm. Y'all know this nigga was like, oh, because you the man of the relationship, right? And I was like, what? I said, I have to be the man of the relationship in order for me to speak, or in order for me to ask you not to cut me off when I'm speaking? So he don't say nothing. But now he had already was doing other shit, which I'm gonna tell you about, that was rubbing me the wrong way. That when he did that, that shit just, the light in me was just like out, done. This relationship is, it went from here to here to here to here. So he said that, right? So I went in the kitchen, and I remember going in the kitchen and I was tearing up because first off, we're going through quarantine. That took a mental fucking stress on everybody, right? My son was staying at his father's house for a month at a time, and then he was coming up. Like, it wasn't like my normal routine was different. I wasn't seeing my friends. I had a lot of stress on me. So then on top of the fact that I was noticing shit about him that was just rubbing me the wrong way. But at this point, I'm dealing with him every day. I'm seeing him every day. But I'm like, damn, I was really like already considering like this is not gonna work for me or whatever, right? So when he had said that, I go in the kitchen, and at this point I'm extra frustrated. My kitchen light does not work. So I remember I started tearing, but I was mad because I'm used to just I don't want to say this to sound crazy. I'm used to just slapping his shit or just straight up punching a nigga in his fucking face. Like, when I get mad, that's what so I was trying at that point to just keep it together. Like, I will stomp you the fuck out in my house. I will beat you the fuck up in my house, nigga. Like, who the fuck is you talking to? Like, I don't know if y'all ever been that mad, but that's how mad I was. Like, he was one of them people that once you said something, he would be like, oh, like, say you having a conversation about politics, he'll be like, oh, no, not even that. So he'll make a point, you can make a point, and he'll be like, no, it's not even that. It's this. It can't be that both y'all have valid points. It can't be that your point is more valid. It can't be that you're right. It can't be none of that. It's what he says. And he would do that a lot. So when he did that, and then he would cut you off. You know what I'm saying? So when he did that, all of that was playing in my head. Like, yo, this nigga always does that. Like, when people talk a lot, I talk a lot in my videos, but in real life, I don't fucking talk this much. I would crack a joke. I would say here and there, but I usually just be sitting there. I just like chilling. So he would talk a lot, but it didn't really bother me because it was like, I'm not that talkative of a person in real life anyway. You know what I'm saying? So when I would say something, it was like, nigga, you've been talking for 23 hours out of the day. You can't give me 5 minutes? You can't give me 5 minutes to talk? So that's what annoyed me. So this whole time, he had car issues, right? So he would come here and he would complain about his car, his job, COVID, stimulus checks, hazard pay. I'm talking about from the time he opened his motherfucking eyes in the morning to the time he will get off of work, come back here, and go to sleep. This nigga was complaining. Oh, like that was his thing. So eventually, like in the beginning, it was just like, okay, I'm engaging him. I'm like, okay, it's gonna get better, or I'm doing this or whatever. But I would notice that we would get up in the morning and you're fucking complaining. Let's make something clear. I have bad anxiety. I told him that. I tell people that if I get into a relationship, I have bad anxiety. There's a few things that you cannot do when you're in a relationship with people with bad anxiety. That driving crazy shit, it don't work for us. Stop. You're gonna kill me. My heart is gonna come out of you're driving too close to the other cars. You're speeding. What is you doing? My anxiety levels are going through the roof. He would do that. Then all that negative talk, it does not help. It does not help the heart. So I had already explained to him that I have anxiety. I don't even think he gave a fuck or he took that into consideration, because the first thing he would do in the morning, he'd be like, oh, you saw that video? Yeah, I remember George Floyd got killed. Oh, you saw how they killed that man? Or you saw the video that said... Get up the next morning, yo, this nigga Trump, yo, COVID-19. I used to be like, So one morning, he had got up, right, and he playing some video mad loud on the phone. And I got up and I was like, babe, can you do me a favor? Can you turn that down or turn it off? Like, we just got up. So he had this thing that anytime I would say something or stand up for myself, or anytime I was like, you know, in disagreement with him, it's like, oh, I'm about to go home. Like I said, he didn't live too far. Oh, I'm going home anyway. So this time, to show him how much that he would say that after anytime I defended myself or anytime I had a request that he didn't like, to show him that before he said it, I said it. So I was like, I said, babe, can you please turn that off? I just woke up. My mind is like, he was like, yeah, oh. I said, oh, what, you about to go home? So he looked at me. I said, yeah, I know. You always say that. Anytime I say something that you don't like, that's what you do. So he's sitting there. So one thing about him is he will apologize very quickly, or he will acknowledge. If you say something that's an actual valid point, that's pointing out a behavior that he's doing, he'll acknowledge it. I give him that. So he was like, you know what, you're right. He was like, I do notice that I do that every time you. He's like, I don't mean it like that or whatever. I was like, it's cool. I said, I just need you to understand that there's a lot going on, and I wake up in the morning and that's my time to just, you know, get my thoughts together. So that was that, right? There was another time, but he had did that so many times before I actually said something about it. There was another time, like I said, I have anxiety. As a result, I don't know about other people with anxiety, I do not watch videos of anybody or anything being hurt or harmed, right? Sorry, hold on, y'all. Because for some reason, people like setting fires in the Bronx. So with that being said, you know how people could watch fight videos or watch people getting stomped out, or watch videos of people getting hit by cars, even skateboarders like that jump off of shit and hurt. I don't watch. That's not amusing to me. I don't understand how people like watching other human beings get hurt. It doesn't do anything for my soul. In particular, I do not like watching people die. I don't like anything that has to do with child abuse. I do not like videos like that. I don't like it. I don't like when people share it on my timeline. I will block you. I don't like it when people just randomly send me those fucking videos. I will not talk to you again. I won't. So I had, like I said, he would always get up and watch these crazy videos or whatever. So he was watching something, and I had already told him that I think it was I told him this when he was talking about the George Floyd. He was like, oh, did you see the George Floyd? And I said, no. Those videos, those cop killing videos, I don't watch. I do not watch. If I scroll on my timeline and get a glimpse of it, that's the only thing that I've seen about it. I will read an article, but I will not visually watch somebody get killed. I'm sorry. So we sitting here. He knows that I don't watch these videos. I'm very adamant about not watching those type of videos, or people not showing me those type of videos. He sits here, he's like, babe, look. And I was like, what is it? He was like, oh, this kid. He said something, and I was like, no, I don't want to watch it. I was like, if it's a bad video, I don't want to watch it. He was like, no, but look. I said, babe, I don't want to watch it. He said, no, look. It's not that. While I turned, it's a little boy hanging. This baby had to be like 7 years old, y'all. Just talking about it, I'm about to fucking cry. It's a little girl. She's sitting there looking at the little boy. He got a rope, a wire or something around his neck, and he's fucking hanging. Do y'all understand the level of control I had to have? I wanted to spit in this nigga fucking face. Why are you watching that? Why are you watching that? What is that doing for you? First off, you could have just told me, damn, this little boy, somebody killed him, or he hung himself, or something like that, or whatever. You did. And then you know what I said to him? He showed me that. You could the air in the room left, bitch. The fucking the amount of tenseness that was in this motherfucking house. I looked at him. I said, "Why would you show me that?" He was like, "Oh no, I just wanted you to really see." I said, "You don't have to show me that. You know that I don't like those videos. You could have just explained to me what happened. After I told you no, what was the point of you doing that?" He's like, "Oh, I just wanted..." No, what he wanted to see is what reaction it would get out of me. That's what he wanted to see. So when he did that, I was like, what type of fucking weirdo is this nigga? Let me calm down. So that was another thing that he had did, right? It was another time he had wandering eyes. I made a video. I didn't make a whole video on this. I made a video. I was talking shit or whatever. There was another time we was in the butcher's. We was in the meat market. And he's one of them people that when he goes outside, he got to have some fly shit on. Even if his clothes is like regular, he got to have some fly shit on, right? So nigga, I would go outside just like this. I don't give a fuck. And it's not that I don't value myself. It's just that I look good. I don't need to put no flowers or enhancements on nothing, bitch. I don't give no eyebrows. I don't have to have these nails on. I don't have to do none of that. I stand out in the crowd. Point blank, period. And I'm not even trying to be fucking cocky. So when people like have to be extra all the time, I'd be like, oh, okay. Like, I mean, if that's what you do, that's what you do. I admire people that always take pride in how they look. But bitch, I will go outside in my gym clothes every day. I don't give a fuck. I don't. But not him. So he would dress however he's dressed, right? And then go outside. I said he looks good. I said he has a big dick and he had a thing for wearing sweatpants or whatever, right? You think people are not going to stare at this nigga? You walking with a bitch that's 5'9". To some people, I look like I'm fucking 6 feet. You think that people are not going to stare at us? You think that people are not going to stare at you? You think that people are not going to glance? We're not going to catch the attention? We will walk in the street and he'll be like, what the fuck is they looking at? Yo, you saw that? You saw that? So the first few times he did it, I stroked his ego. I was like, babe, you know, you're a good looking guy. Like, you know, people are gonna look. I said, you got nice sneakers on. Like, usually when stuff initially happens, it doesn't register in my head. It got to happen a few times for me to be like, the fuck, so what? So he would do that all the time. So eventually I just stopped paying attention to him saying it. I wouldn't entertain it. So eventually we had went to this when stuff started opening back up a little bit. We go to City Island. And y'all know me with my cheap mira dresses and shit, my tie-dye dresses, bitch. I know how to pull me a fine nigga in one of them fucking cheap ass dresses. So I put my little cheap dress on, okay? And I go to motherfucking City Island with my fine, no good nigga. Alright? And we in there. And this nigga, he pull up to City Island. At this point, he done replaced his car. And the car the new car that he got it's a nice car. So we pull up to City Island. It's a beautiful day. You got your new car. You got your bitch with you. Okay, you feeling yourself, right? But he pull up. He go in there. He walking on, looking around like. I'm like, yeah, I'm too laid back. I'm sorry. I just am. He go in there and he gotta look at everybody to see who's looking at him, to see who's looking at the car. So we going in and he say something No, matter of fact, we going in, right? And he looking, like there was a couple coming. So he looks at them. Or he catches himself looking at the girl or some shit like that. I don't know. Whatever. I don't know. I just noticed that he was looking. So the guy looked and the guy kind of like looked away or whatever. But you could tell when people see that you're looking at them or somebody who is looking at them, they kind of have this face like, the fuck are they looking at? So that's what these people, that's what their face was to me. Like, you know what I'm saying? I mind you, I'm just an accessory to this nigga at this point, right? So we fucking walk in, we go to get some Henny Coladas or some shit like that. If you've been to City Island, if you're from the hood, you know. If you know, you know, bitch. This is the spot where everybody and their mama at, okay? The flyest niggas, the birdest bitches is there, okay? So we go to get a Henny Colada, and this is another couple coming with their drinks. So it's this big nigga, and he got him a fine bitch with him, right? So he looking at the girl, like I said, he got wandering eyes. He looking at the girl, so I'm just chilling. I'm peeping his whole bravado, his whole. So he look at the girl, and then the guy looks at him. So he looks at the guy, but this guy didn't look away. This guy looked at him, and then just looked at him. And then the guy looks at me, and I was just like, like, nigga, help me. Can I join y'all? Can I be with y'all, please? So the guy looks at him, and he keeps looking at the nigga. I'm with Mr. Crush. So here go Mr. Crush. He turned all attitude and shit. He like, yo, you sitting there. Now you see what I'm talking about? This nigga staring at me. They staring and shit. So I turned and I calmly said, when you stare at people, they're going to stare at you. When you look at people, they're going to look at you. Just like that, y'all. I'll be calm with my little corrections. I'm calm until I'm not calm. Let's make that clear. So I was like, that's what I said. He looked at me like I had shit on my face. How dare I say that? He was like, I wasn't even sure. I was like, okay, baby, I'm sorry. Nigga, I don't know what the fuck to tell you. You looking at people, nigga. You're not aware that you're looking at people. You're looking at people. You're staring at people. You're looking at people like you, everybody look at me type of nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's your whole fucking style. You don't peep that that's your style, but that's your style. Okay? So, anyway, that was another time. There was a time we was in a butcher, and there was this girl there. Now, old girl, the only thing I can say about her is that she has some thick ass snake eye glasses on, y'all. Like, them shit was crazy. Like, I don't know if any of y'all remember my glasses. She had them glasses times 10. This bitch was blind as a motherfucker, but this bitch was bad, bitch. I'm talking about bad. Okay? I don't never, if you look good, you look good. I don't give a fuck. So we go in there. So I said, oh God, here we go. And it wasn't because she was in there. It was because I'm with this stupid ass nigga. So we get in there, and you could tell he peep her. So I'm ordering shit, and at this point, I didn't tell him about his eyes wandering, right? I never brung that up to him. So at this point, he's like staring. He's so much into himself, so in his other world. Gotta look at me, look at my dick print, look at my sneakers, look at my muscles. You know, I'm here type of shit. So he doing one of those little moments. He having his little fucking moment. Don't even realize he having a fucking moment. He's staring at this bitch. Staring. The girl ain't paying him no mind. She probably glanced at him one or two times. She was on the phone. She was ordering her little package or whatever. She was just existing. She didn't give me the vibe or, oh, look at your man looking at me. You know how some bum bitches do when they feel like they got one up on you, like these niggas ain't for everybody. Bitch, cool down. Cool out. I don't give a fuck. I don't. So she wasn't doing none of that. Let's make that clear. She was minding her fucking business. She did not pay this nigga no mind. He's so much into what he's staring that she's like leaning on the counter, like looking at the menu. I'm like off to the side, but I'm behind her, like, and then there's the middle. He's standing in the middle, and he's standing like this. So me and her are standing like this, right? And then he's in the middle like this, and he's staring at her ass. So I'm literally looking at this nigga like, this is what he's doing. I'm 1,000% sure he didn't realize he was doing this. But one thing about me, and I told him this when I first met him, I said I analyze people. I watch people a lot. I watch their behaviors. I watch their demeanor. I've always had that trait about me, okay? I've always been like that since a young girl. You grew up in foster care, bitch. You learn to read people's body language. You got to know whether somebody is about to do something to you, whether somebody wants you in their house. Bitch, it's just in me. So when I'm with somebody, I watch them. I watch how people eat. I watch every fucking thing. Call it what you want. Call it judging. That's just how the fuck I am. So I'm watching this nigga. I'm like, looking at him. So finally, he must have felt the fucking steam coming off of me, bitch, because he finally turned around. So I look at him, and I just roll my eyes. So I moved to the side, and so he moved over there, and I guess he peaked. You know, my whole demeanor changed. So he's like, you know, kind of, you know, he brung it down a bit. That was another time. So one day, I forgot what was the reason I said it, but I said, you stare at a woman a lot in the street. I said, you have wandering eyes. He was like, oh, no, I don't. I just, you know, he made up all this shit or whatever. So one day we go out, and he caught himself doing it. It was some African girl that was past. I knew she was African. I just knew she was African, bitch. She had Mother Africa ass. So she walked past. So he was looking, but then he was like, you know when somebody catches up, he was like, I was like, yeah, dummy. Yeah, dummy. Yeah, thank you. Be mindful. Because while you're looking at all these women, these niggas is looking at me. And I'm not being disrespectful about it. I'm not sizing niggas up, looking at niggas' crotches. I'm not doing none of that. I don't give a fuck. I don't care about that type of attention in that way. I know I look good. I can post my little bathing suit pics or whatever, get my little compliments from my subscribers or my followers on Instagram. But that is the extent of my vanity, is what I'm saying. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you don't see me conducting myself like that in the club or in the street. You won't see me like, basically what I'm saying is like, I don't know if y'all have friends that's like this, but they be like, oh, look, them niggas looking at us. Oh, like, oh, the niggas is over there. Let's go where the niggas is at. No, let's stay over here. My mouth is too crazy. I come off as fucking uppity and stuck up sometimes. I don't want a nigga thinking he giving me a compliment and he's fucking not. I don't give a fuck about the fact that you think my ass is fat or I'm an Amazon or my lips is nice. I look in the mirror every day. Thank you. Like, fuck out my face. Period. I know that sounds crazy. Are y'all trying to see do y'all realize why I'm single? Okay. So anyway, this nigga, he just had that. You gotta look at him. He gotta know. Like, everything was looks, and that's just you gotta get deeper with me. You know what I'm saying? So I just noticed that about him, and that's what really killed the relationship. He was very self-centered, very about him. You know what I'm saying? So, is there anything else I gotta tell y'all before I really put y'all on? Okay, Mother's Day. Mother's Day comes, and he comes here. He was at my house, and he left like in the daytime, and then he came back at night. So he was like, what did he say? He came here on Mother's Day. He didn't say Happy Mother's Day. And I had to be like, you want to say Happy Mother's Day? He didn't say Happy Mother's Day. So I think he tried to ask for a massage. So I said to him, I said, you need to be giving me a massage. I said, it's Mother's Day. So at this point, I'm frustrated. All that, all like I said, our relationship is just, it's kind of like oil and water. He was rubbing me the wrong way. All this shit going on, quarantine, my job, me worried about my son, my family members. It was just a lot going on. The George Floyd shit, the Breonna Taylor shit, all that shit was just taking a time. Like I believe that I'm an empath, so all that shit was like really draining me, like legitimately. So on Mother's Day, when he came in, I had to remind him to say Mother's Day. Once again, I'm one of them people that I let shit bottle up and then I let it out. Bad habit. So I think I started crying or some shit like that, right? So this nigga gonna go, you playing? Bitch. Me and him started going back and forth, and I was like, listen. I said, you don't know what, I said, one thing you don't know what love is, you don't know what compassion is, you don't know how to be caring, you don't know that. I said, you suck life out of people. I said, as caring and as nurturing as I've tried to be towards you, I said, I don't know what it is about me that keeps attracting you, your type, but I said, I've had enough of this shit. Like, and that's what I said to him. So I said, I don't know what the fuck it is about me. I don't know if it's because sometimes I can come off as very motherly. You know what I'm saying? So I think I attract men that always like need to be fucking breastfed or need their ego stroked so fucking much. But bitch, I'm tired. Okay? I'm tired. So I had said that to him that night. I said, I said, you came here to remind you to say Happy Mother's Day. I said, I'm used to on Mother's Day doing my nails and doing it, and we going through quarantine, and I just started, breaking down and crying and doing whatever. So we going back and forth. So now we get quiet. So he sit on the edge of the bed, and it's mad awkward. And I'm like, okay, here we go. So, that was another time. I'm just telling y'all random fucking tidbits before I get to the fucking gist. Is there anything else? No. It's nothing else really that's worth mentioning that I can remember. Oh, like I remember one time I was making the bed. And I you know how you take I don't know if y'all do it, but I took the pillow or the sheet and I was gonna, you know how you just dust the bed off. So I went to do that and he jumped. And I was like, mind you, I've thought about knocking this nigga out, but I've never actually said it or actually acted on it. So when he did that, I was like, he was like, oh, I thought you was gonna hit me or something. And I was like, somebody did a number on you. And I left it just like that. Because his whole demeanor was he was very defensive about everything. He was very much look at me. I don't know if it was his child. I don't know. I'm trying to break it down and be too fucking analytical. I don't know what the fuck. But it was some kind of you know how some people become cops because they were bullied as a kid. I feel like he is who he is, or he behaves the way he does because he didn't get that type of attention when he was younger. It gotta be something, because it's something that it wasn't just, he always, I don't know, I don't even know how to explain it. Fucking weird. Just weird. Strange. So, okay. Okay, so I'm gonna tell y'all the real fucking juice. So, one day I'm here and how long is it? Okay, it's going on an hour, not too bad. One day I'm here and he's here, of course. And my homegirl called me and I put her on speaker. And she's like, Annie. I'm like, yeah. She's like, oh, you know the guy from the cafe, the one that's buff and dark skinned and he's short and he look good. I don't know why people considered him short. I didn't consider him short. He was my height, but for some reason they felt like he was short. That's how people would describe him. But I was like, yeah. She was like, yeah, the one you deal with. And I was like, yeah. I got her on speaker. He's in here doing push-ups or whatever. So she was like, girl, I had saw a photo of him on Facebook. And I was like, okay. Because he, he was doing like modeling things or whatever. So she's like, and then I clicked this link and that link. And she was like, girl, you know he's a fucking full-blown stripper? I said, he's a stripper? She said, yeah, girl, I went to his page. He picking bitches up. He got the thongs on. He got a cowboy. He got this on. And I said, mind you, I'm nauseous. My heart is pounding out of my chest. I got this bitch on speaker. He right here. So he go in the bathroom. So I play calm, bitch. I ain't skip a beat. I ain't none of that. I said, so she just going and going and going and going. She was like, girl, he fine. He got a bit. She doing all of this. She one of them, hood booger bitches. I love her though. So she was like, so she telling me all of this, and I was like, yeah, I know about it. So y'all remember when I said that I went to his house and I asked him about them hats? Them hats wasn't for fucking Halloween. Them hats was his costume to strip, bitch. He had a fireman hat, a cop hat, cowboy hat, some fucking Japanese hat. He had a whole bunch of shit. And before that, the glitter shit. He went to that party 2 hours away that day. He was fucking tired to go perform. When he came in here with that glitter, it clicked. It clicked when I was dancing with him, when I invited him out with my friends, and the way he was dancing, I said, nah. I said, something ain't right. So when I saw them hats in his house, and I saw that glitter, and then he had told me he had went to Miami, even though he was fucking sick as a dog, and the way he picked me up when he went to go eat me, I said, I already knew he was a stripper. I never approached him about it. I didn't say anything about it, but I knew, bitch. I know in my heart, I swear, I know. I called Reese and I said, bitch, I said, I'm not wrong. Here's what's fucked up about me, which I'm working on. I be knowing the niggas I'm fucking with ain't shit, but something in me says, Annie, keep going. It's like I'm trying to either prove myself right or wrong. Instead of just saying this person is not for you and you know they not for you, it's like, no, let me see. Bitch, I knew. The nigga's a stripper, so me and her hang up the phone. So I'm like, Poppy, could you please come in? So he sat down. And I said, why you ain't tell me? He's like, first he tried to lie and say, oh, I thought I told you. I said, please stop playing with me. You know you ain't tell me that. So then he goes, oh, I didn't know if I should tell you, if I needed to tell you. He's like, I've been doing it for a long time. And he was like, I make a lot of money doing it. And, whatever the situation was. So I'm like, so I'm sitting there and it just gets awkward. I'm just sitting there and I'm in my head like, Annie, what are you going to do? Like, do you want to deal with somebody? You knew this person was stripping, now is officially confirmed. So I guess that was his time to shine, bitch, because he go to show me videos of him dancing. And I'm just turned the fuck off. I'm turned off. Because it's not like, okay, I officially found out you're a stripper and you're a good boyfriend. You're not a good boyfriend. And then you're a stripper. Your dick does not get fully hard. And it makes sense that your dick doesn't get hard. I don't know if it's from putting those things on his dick. I don't know if he took enhancers. I don't know if he took stimulants to always get his dick hard. I don't know. But that dick was like, bitch. Big as a fucking arm and would not, it was like, wake the fuck up. I don't know if that's the reason why he didn't like head. I cannot call it, y'all. I was not getting wet. I was not turned on. He claimed, oh, like there was times like if I wanted to have sex, it's like, oh, I'm stressed, or I gotta work out. It was like always something. So I was starting to put two and two together. That dick don't work. It don't work. Anyway, what was I gonna say? So he showed me this video, so I had to tell him, like, this is a lot. I said, this is a lot. You are very deceptive. You didn't tell me, blah, blah, blah. So I'll tell him all of that. I give him my peace of mind, but I eventually just left it alone. I was like, okay, I'm just, whatever. We kept dealing with each other. But from then, I already knew, like, you got all these personality traits that I don't like, and you're a stripper. You're a horrible boyfriend, and you're a stripper. Your dick don't work, and you're a stripper. So it wasn't the fact that he was a stripper why we didn't work out. It was those things, along with the fact that I felt that he was very self-centered and very selfish. You understand what I'm saying? It's not like he was a good person where I could just overlook the fact that you picking bitches up on the weekend. No. Like, I can't even do that. So that's not the fucking cherry on the fucking cake, y'all. Remember how I said on Mother's Day, he was here in the afternoon and then he came back at night. He didn't go to work that day. I knew he didn't go to work. He had told me that he was going to go back to his house, just chill, whatever. Because like I said, we spent a lot of time with each other. So every so often he would just decide that he wanted to be in his house or whatever. So it turns out that day he put on a show for the woman on Mother's Day. Like, he did a live show. So that bothered me because now I know that you're aware it's fucking Mother's Day. Like, of course I knew he was aware it was Mother's Day. But you went all out your fucking way to entertain these other bitches. At this point, I knew he was a stripper. Okay? I told you that part last just for the build up. But I forgot what month I found out he was a stripper. But it's established that he was a stripper. So I already, when it turns out he put on a live show. I didn't know that in that day, but fast forward, like towards the end of our relationship, I had called my ex-boyfriend, one of my ex-boyfriends that I'm really cool with, and I'm telling him, I'm just going down the list of all the shit that's bothering me about this nigga. Like, shit ain't hitting. Like, I was sexually frustrated. It wasn't hitting, okay? So he's like, oh, what's his name? So I tell him his name. So he go on his page. He on the phone dying, laughing. I'm talking about tears coming out this nigga eye. I'm like, yo, shut the fuck up. He's like, Annie, only you. I said, I'm gonna tell you, I don't know who the fuck I was in my past life, y'all. But I had to did somebody wrong. There's no way around it. Cause I was like, why? How? Who? When? How? Me? This nigga, he's like, yo, go look at his page. Go look at his page. So, y'all know that I have a business page. So apparently I was logged in through my business page. So when I went to go see his page, I was able to see it. Because when I tried to go see his page from my personal page, bitch, I was blocked. Now, I found it weird that I was blocked because prior to this, I had never asked to see his Instagram. I didn't go check his Instagram. I didn't give a fuck because I had already, once I knew that he was a stripper, I didn't want to see nothing. You understand? I didn't want to be honest with you, I didn't want to be associated with him because I didn't want nobody in my inbox. I didn't want nobody, like, I didn't want none of my subscribers saying, oh, you dealing with this nigga. Like, I was kind of embarrassed. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know how to explain it. But I don't like that type of attention is what I'm saying. So I found it weird that he would already have me blocked from my personal page. So that means that you were taking extra steps to ensure that I did not know that you were a stripper. Okay. So mind you, like I said, this is after the fact that me and him, I found out he was a stripper, whatever, whatever. So for it to be a month or two later, for me to find out that you blocked me on a personal page, that means that you did that either right after I found out, or you did that while we was in the cafe, and you were really trying to hide that from me, right? So that annoyed me. But I go on his page from my business page. Why this nigga got an OnlyFans, y'all? That OnlyFans is what did it for me. It wasn't the stripper shit. The OnlyFans is what did it for me. And I didn't really say that when I did approach him on it. So the day that I approached him on the OnlyFans, mind you, my ex-boyfriend is on the phone having a fucking field day. Okay? I done hung up on the nigga and all that. So now I'm in here fucking vexed. So Mr. Crush comes over. I play it cool. I don't say nothing. I wake up in the morning. I make sure I give him some pussy. I make sure I sit on his face. I make sure I make him breakfast. I make sure everything is set the fuck up. And then I approached him about it. I said, when were you going to tell me you had an OnlyFans? He was like, pass me my clothes. Bitch, I passed him his clothes. I said, when were you going to tell me? Here he go. Oh, why do I have to tell you? I didn't know I had to report to you. Making up all these other excuses. Why do you think that it's okay for you to be conducting yourself out there and then make yourself seem like you're a certain way when you're with me? If this is not who you are, it's not who you are. If that is who you are, I don't know which person you are. You understand what I'm saying? Is the point that I'm trying to make, because he can say that, because I had asked him one day, and I was like, do you know how to turn that off? Like the stripper mindset, do you know how to turn that look at me attention thing off? I had asked him that one day. He was in here doing something that was fucking annoying the shit out of me, and I had asked him that, and he was like, yeah, this is that or third. So for me to see that he has an OnlyFans, I was like, you really deep into that lifestyle. That's not just something that you do for money. This is who you are as a person. Like, you doing OnlyFans. Now, I want to make something clear. There's nothing wrong with OnlyFans, in my opinion. I don't knock people that do whatever they do. I don't knock sex workers. I'm very much get it how you live it, as long as you're not fucking harming anybody, physically harming anybody, or there's no children. Like, I don't do what you do. And that's probably part of the reason why when I found out he was a stripper, I didn't necessarily throw him to the fucking side. It was just like, okay, I'm more so one of them people that be honest with me and let me make my decision. Do not make my decision for me. So when I saw that he had an OnlyFans, he was like, oh, if it's bothering you, I'll delete it. And this is that and the third. What is this? I don't know. This thing is weird. But anyway, he was like, oh, if it's bothering you, I'll delete it. This is that and the third. So I was like, this. I said, you ain't got to delete it. I said, my issue is that you already had. You didn't tell me about the fact that you're a stripper and you had an OnlyFans. And my thing is, before you had the OnlyFans, I had made a joke one day and I said to him, you probably got an OnlyFans. And he didn't admit it. So when I found out that he actually had an OnlyFans, I said, Annie, you knew. You fucking knew. So we got into it about that. And at that point, I was still like, I was in my head like knowing that the relationship has to end, but I had spent so much time with him within a short period of time, like the whole quarantine, spending every day with him. It was kind of like I needed, I don't know, like I was just trying to figure out how to like end it. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to just be like, oh, it's over. Or I don't know why I didn't want to just be like, oh, it's over. But whatever. So I had came back. I went to, I think, North Carolina, some shit like that, to see my family. I came back, and turns out my cousin ended up knowing him, and she had told me, like, oh, he be one of the niggas that, she was like, oh, he kind of talk with a lisp, or whatever. And then I was like, yeah. So she was like, oh, he's one of the ones that be staying behind and talking to the girls, and that was the straw on the camel's back for me, because he was very adamant. And this is not even something I asked him. He volunteered, telling me, oh, I do my job and I get out. I don't be sitting here talking to people and this is that and the third. I don't do none of that. I don't be. So when my cousin ended up telling me that you, in fact, do be entertaining bitches after you're done performing, that's when it was like, okay, it's a dub for me. Like, what more do you want? You want to see this nigga in a fucking porno? What else do you want, Annie? So, what she told me that, so when I came back and I tried to, like, approach him about the situation, and he was like, oh, if you can't deal with that, or something, we should go our separate ways. I didn't put in no argument. Bitch, I went in the room, sat down, 2 tears in a bucket. He left, and no lie, on everything I love, I just felt a weight just lifted the fuck off of me. Like, that relationship was so fucking heavy. It started off so simple. Cute guy. We seemed to get along. Fine in a motherfucker. And then each day was like pulling fucking life out of me. Like, I was frustrated. I was miserable. So that's how we ended. Somebody had asked me, do I think that he's gay? I said no, and I'm going to say no. But for some reason, people felt the need to ask me, do I think that he's gay? But I wouldn't, like, the longer I knew him, the more I started to find out, hear this, or see that he was a completely different person than what he claimed to be. If at any point in the future I found out that he was gay, it wouldn't even, it would do nothing. I would not be shocked, y'all. I'm not saying that I think he is. I'm not saying that he is. But honestly, every time he turned around, it was pulling a fucking rabbit out of a hat with this nigga. Like, what's going on? So, I think I've explained everything. I'm sorry that this took so long to upload. Yeah, I don't have anything else to say. He was a stripper. He was on OnlyFans. We see each other. I don't know if he still watches my video. If he's watching this and he's offended, I can't. He probably never talked to me again. I don't know. But hopefully he doesn't watch it. I don't have anything else. I see him to this day. I saw him one time. It was a little get together at the cafe, and he had texted me, "Oh, you look really good," or whatever. And I was like, "Thank you." And we see each other here and there. Well, I haven't seen him in like a couple of months, but we would see each other here and there and keep small conversations, say hi. It's no animosity. I mean, he would, try to give me them dick hugs, and he would say hi or whatever the situation was, or tell me if I look good. But, oh, that's what I forgot to mention. It was very weird. It's very weird because one time I was in a cafe, and like I said, I observe everything. And y'all know that song, Mrs. Jones? And it's saying something about how they be in a cafe or whatever. So that song came on. He was sitting there, and it just felt like, it was very weird. It was weird because it was like all these signals was like pointing to us, and I was in my head like, yeah, it was weird energy. And then he had sat down and he said something to me. He was like, "Oh, I know you think I forgot what he was talking about, what we were talking about, but it was kind of an analogy for our relationship because it was he had said something like, "Oh, I know you." We were talking about the gym and the gym's being open or not open or some shit like that, and he was like, "Yeah," he's like, you trying to say that I didn't appreciate it, like trying to say he didn't appreciate when the gyms was open or whatever." But the way he was saying it was kind of like we were talking about us, but we weren't talking about us. And I was like, "I don't think you appreciated it." He was like, I think I did," and I was like, "No, I don't think so." Like, and we just left it like that. But we never after we stopped talking and we had saw each other a couple of times and we didn't say anything to each other, and then another time I had said something to, like I said hi or whatever, but I got whatever I needed to get off my chest because I just didn't like the way he treated me. I just straight up told him I don't like the way you treated me. I don't like the fact that you were deceptive. I think that you know, whatever. So I did that simply because I knew I was going to be seeing him often, and I don't like the feeling of being uncomfortable around somebody. So when we see each other, it's no hard feelings. But yeah, that's that, guys. So if you're not thoroughly entertained by my misfortunes, I don't know what the fuck to tell you. Cause I'm entertained, bitch. All right, bye.